Good evening, everyone, and thank you, everybody, for another evening of joining us with Soul Work. I'm your host, Jenny Cousins, and thank you all again. And just before, actually, I do start the show tonight, I wanted to mention to the viewers that if you are looking for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, you must go to T&T Honda and see my dear friend Zaire Manji. I bought a new truck from him over the weekend, a Honda Ridgeline, and I absolutely adore it. I just got to figure out where all the buttons are for everything and how to use it properly. So I just wanted to mention his name because he's a really dear friend of mine that I've known for about 30 years. And Raymond, also the finance manager who dearly helped me. So I highly recommend everybody to go see him if you're looking. And if you do, you tell Zaire Manji that Jenny sent you and you want to have at least one spanking per mile. And when you say that, it might sound really crazy, he'll give you a really good deal. Trust me on that. So anyways, back to the show. So on tonight's show, of course, we have my co-host, Kimberly Buckler, and we are going to be taking calls from the callers after our commercial break when I introduce our guest. So just before I mentioned our guest, what is that phone number for the viewers, Kim?
It is 403-539-6710.
Absolutely. So after our guest is on, feel free to give us a call, Calgary, and our guest will be staying for the full show also. And please welcome on tonight's show my guest, Suze Casey.
Thank you so much, Jenny and Kim. Lovely to be here with you tonight.
Yes, I'm very happy that you're here tonight.
I've been so excited about this. I'm looking forward to it. As I mentioned to you earlier, in my own hometown. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very interesting to have you on the show. The viewers are absolutely going to see why.
Can you explain to us how you came to develop belief repatterning?
Absolutely. There's always a story. And I think anyone who has developed something, it comes from their own need. And so in my early 30s, almost 30 years ago now, in my early 30s I was very ill. And I understood the mind-body connection. Began studying Buddhism when I was 14. So I understood that there was a connection. And I knew that I needed to get my mind on board. And I just didn't seem to be able to silence the continual, what I call tickety-ticketies. And my background is in educational psychology and how the mind works to learn. And I was working at that time as a teacher, although I was off on long-term disability. And I thought, how would I teach myself to be well? How would I teach my mind to be calm? How would I do that? How could I kind of interrupt all that thought process?
Right.
And so began playing around with things and found some things that worked for me, and then would, start using them with my kids and with my girlfriends. I got back to school and was teaching in the classroom and started using some of the things with students and found that I was getting great results.
Right.
Kids that were having learning difficulties or test anxiety. And I thought, we can in fact repattern those thoughts that seem to be going continuously. And so really began then, when I was well, a deep study of how this could happen and how we could make it happen. And I wanted it to be easy. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be something that anybody could do regardless. They didn't have to have a degree in psychology in order to, none of us came with an owner's manual for our mind. And if we did, we probably wouldn't have read it.
Oh, good Lord, no. I sure didn't.
And so this is a way of kind of developing a relationship with your own mind so that it isn't running you. It's part of your being, but it's not running you.
Absolutely. Because I noticed that, and you sent me a book. And I took it to Hawaii with me, and I was reading a little bit.
Fun! My book went to Hawaii.
Yes, your book went to Hawaii. Got a little sand in it, mind you.
Perfect.
But that's okay. Spilled even a little Mai Tai on the corner.
Nice. I was just about to ask.
It's christened as per Hawaiian. And I wanted to show our viewers the book that you have written, and that's Belief in Repattering. And can you tell us, actually, more about your book, of what really drew you to write it?
What drew me to write?
Yes, because it's very
good. Thank you. Thousands
Yes.
of people begging me to write it. I always knew that I would. It was never a question about was I going to. It was when.
Right.
And one day, a couple of years ago, my girlfriend and I were swimming out Lake Okanagan and doing our kind of 3-hour-long swim and talks.
Oh, wow.
And she said to me, what's it going to take for you to write the book? And I said, it's going to get written next year. And she said, are you saying that because it's this year? And I said, no, it just feels like that's when it's going to happen. And I got home and she sent me an email from Hay House that she'd received about a conference called Write, Speak, Promote. And she said, you're going. And she's one of those girlfriends that when she says you're going, you go.
That's a good
and
girlfriend.
She says, you know, I don't want to hear that you're too busy and you can't, like, I don't want to hear any of that stuff. You're going. And she said, they're looking for new authors and you're it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah, right, whatever. And, but, you know, she was really adamant. And she said, and you're going to stay at that hotel, no staying at the, you know, cheap one down the road. You're going to stay at that hotel. You're going to meet somebody on the elevator. Well, lo and behold, I went and I met Louise on the elevator, like as in Louise of Hay House, Louise Hay. And, but anyway, so I still wasn't convinced that that's, but I knew that the book was in me and I thought this is a good way to start it. And so I put in a proposal to them. They offered that as to anybody that had been at the conference, and they were going to award a book contract if they found something of interest. And there was, you know, I don't know, 500-600 people at the conference, and I thought, well, whatever. Yeah. And then they phoned me, and then it was like, oh my goodness, I guess I have to write it now. You know, Hay House is going to send me a check, and they're expecting a book back, and so there's real impetus in that. You know, when you get in advance, it's like, okay,
Hay House.
Yeah,
I mean, Hay House is. Wow, that's
I still don't try to think about it too much.
Hay House, Hay House.
Yeah, it's like, and you know, Louise is as she appears.
Right.
She's just an amazing woman, and I feel really blessed to be associated with them. They run their business like they, you know, like they teach. And so the book, my very favorite paragraph in the whole book, and you probably haven't read it, but it's at the beginning, and it says published in, and it's like, you know, India and Europe and like all over the world. That's my favorite paragraph, and I didn't even write it.
Really?
And that's the advantage of being with Hay House. They're international.
Absolutely.
So it got the word out, which is great.
And that's important because I mean there's a lot of different people I've met and stuff and taken workshops and seminars, and I've read hundreds of books, and I still like to learn more.
Well,
you know what I mean? Because everybody has their own unique approach to things, right?
For me, it was I had done all that stuff too. And I've been teaching personal development for years, and I got it, but I wasn't getting it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes,
it's like I understood the concept, but when something would happen, all this enlightened things I knew would kind of go flying out the window, and this 3-year-old would show up. And it was like embarrassing, you know? And so, you know, and I got frustrated because I would listen to these speakers saying, just change your thoughts.
True.
And I was like, I get it, but how the heck do I do it? And then I went, oh, well, maybe, and I kept looking for somebody to teach me how, and then I went, well, maybe it's my job to figure that piece out. And so, you know, I always talk about belief repatterning as an and also. It's not an either or. And I call it a technique as opposed to a modality.
Yes.
Because you take it with anything else and embed it. Yeah. And it's just a way of helping your mind process the information to go from here to here and build new neural pathways, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So your book, would it help us to do that? Or?
Absolutely. The first part of the book tells you kind of why you want to and how it could work and how your brain works, just kind of like Psychology 101, just enough to get you by. And then part 2 literally walks you through chapter by chapter the 6 stages of the repatterning process. And so can you learn to do it by reading the book? Yes, just like you can learn yoga by reading a book. Always better if you work with a yoga instructor in conjunction with it, but if you don't have one available, yes, you'll get something from it. And then embedded in the book is the other aspect of repatterning, which is it's not just the technique, the 6-stage technique of statements that you work from A to B through, but it's also little practices that you can do. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I was a teacher, and I taught junior high here in Calgary.
And the university.
I've taught grade 5 to post-grad. Yeah, my favorite's junior high, though.
Is it?
Tells you more about me than you need to know, probably. They're wired fun.
The young energy in you. That's it.
Yeah, and they just they question things, and they don't just take no for an answer. They're like, why? And I love that.
So let's say, for instance, if someone, because I know you do seminars and such like that too, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, any of the viewers, what's the best way for them to reach out to you or anything?
BeliefRepatterning.com, SuzeCasey.com. Google Suze Casey, you'll get about 500,000 hits. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Facebook, Hay House, any of those places. I also have a radio show weekly on Contact Talk Radio, CTR Network.
Yes.
Pretty easy to find.
Yes, because you got the good voice for it.
Thank you.
Because I've done a couple of radio shows before, and you know the voice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm very blessed. I got
Yes.
born with this one. So,
Yeah. Meant to be.
yes.
You're calling.
Yeah, but I just really quickly, that other part that I think just is really important
Yes.
is that really quick try these on practices. So throughout the
Yes.
book, you probably notice there's little shaded boxes, things that you can do in
Yes.
3 to 5 minutes while you're doing other things.
Right.
Because most of us know we would be perfect if we had a half hour a day to ohm,
Yes.
but I don't.
I know.
And
Yeah.
so I'm living in this life. I
Yes.
need something that I can embed into what I'm doing, and belief
Absolutely.
repatterning does that.
Absolutely. Well, it was great having you on the show. I mean, the 10 minutes really does fly by fast.
It does.
Right. But I mean, the good thing about this is we are going to take a short commercial break, and the viewers can, phone in, and they can also ask you questions too.
Absolutely.
And
Happy to take any questions.
Yes, absolutely. And what's that number, Kim, again,
It
for
is
the viewers?
403-539-6710.
Excellent. So hang tough there, Calgary. We will be right back after these messages. Hello, Calgary, and thank you for joining us. For those of you who have just tuned in, I'm your host, Jeni Cousins, and welcome to Soul Work. On tonight's show, my guest is Suze Casey, and she is staying the full show, and we are officially now taking calls from our callers. So if anyone has a question to ask any of us, myself, Kim, or Suze, give us a call. And what's that number again, Kim?
403-539-6710.
Absolutely.
And we do have a caller, and her name is Anna.
Anna.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
We sure can. How are you tonight?
Oh, very good. Thank you very much for taking my call. I am calling because I haven't been working since February, and I'm having great difficulties to find a job. And of course, right now, financially, I'm getting worse. And means that I wonder if you can tell me, what do you see for me in the near future?
I actually, I heard March as soon as you start talking. Are you familiar with what an old soul is? It's not about your age. Are you familiar with that at all? An old soul is meaning you've been here more than one lifetime, right? I'm really feeling that things are gonna start to get better for you, but honestly, I'm feeling more of a bigger change for you in March, right? It's almost like it's gonna be like a whole new beginning. So from now until then, I really do feel that you are gonna find some work, but I'm feeling something part-time.
Temporarily.
Right, that's gonna tie you over. And you very well might go through, this kind of period where you have some work and then you're not really going to like it, so you make a change. You might even make 3 changes before March, but it's good. Don't worry. I don't want to worry you about it.
And maybe pursue something that you haven't done already, just something a little bit different. So if you're looking for the same work and you're not getting it, maybe you need to look for something else.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What about you, Suze?
Yeah, if you're still listening, Anna, one of the things that I would suggest is focus on how you want to feel, because right now you're feeling, I could hear a bit of desperation and concern and worry. What's the opposite of that? Would it be feeling secure or feeling solid or feeling grounded? And then do whatever you can to create that feeling in your life. So if it is secure that you want, maybe be secure by holding a small child and feel that security that you're giving them, and then let that security. So go into the feeling of what you want rather than on the downside that's spinning you out a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you still there, Anna?
No,
I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, because sometimes we have to sit back and then just refocus and see a bigger picture and know that things are going to get better. Because if you stay in that, I don't have anything, then that's all you're going to bring is nothing.
Because
so you
fear, even now we've just had, there was a full moon and then we had the super moon, right? And now we're moving into Mercury retrograde. And what the super moon was about, it does affect you. You might not really know about it, but this super moon, it all represents different, but this represents our worthiness. So you know, you might have, let's say, mixed feelings, you know, the past week, you know, 10 days really of your worthiness. You know, what do I deserve? What, you know, no longer serves my higher self? What do I need to clear out of my life, right? What is working? What is not working, right? So really emotional. And if you are a water sign, then like Pisces or something, for instance, it's going to affect you more. So you're going to be more emotional during that supermoon time, because all the new moons, they represent different meanings, of course. You know, I always take advantage of the moment when it is, especially Mercury retrograde or new moons or anything. Absolutely.
But we do have another caller, Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie.
Bonnie?
Yes, hi.
Hi. And your question for us tonight?
I called a couple of weeks ago and I had asked you about my son, and I don't think I worded my question right because of the answers, which were fine. But what I was wondering was his dream of what he wants to do for life. I was wondering if he's going to succeed and make his dreams come true.
He has to be the one that really, really focuses on it. We can make anything happen if we really focus and use that intent to create it to happen, right? If our mind is kind of scattered, what do? Do I be a welder? Do I be a mechanic? Do I be a teacher? You know what I mean? Type thing. When we have scattered thoughts and we're not sure, spirit isn't going to work in our favor, right? Where if he says, you know what, I want to be a teacher, let's say, and that's his intent and that's what he focuses on, he will do it. So
well, he's wanted to be this since the day he was born, almost.
Yeah, but what's he doing to really, you know, get it going and create it to happen?
A lot.
Right?
Oh yeah, he's doing everything he can.
I'm not feeling it though. I'm not feeling it.
Really?
I'm not, honestly. What does he want to do?
He's an actor.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. To be very, very honest with you.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I don't want to shatter anybody's dreams at all.
No, and I don't want to shatter his dreams either,
but I'm not. I'm really not feeling it.
Yeah,
but,
Bonnie, what,
okay.
do you want to go ahead? Or?
Oh, I'm just thinking he's only about 24, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very close. I think.
Okay, so
26, yeah.
Okay, so give him time.
Yeah.
Just give him time. Maybe he needs to get some other stuff done before he pursues that. Just give him time
And what I was going to suggest, Bonnie, is I can hear your concern, your motherly concern, and one of the things that I talk about in my work in repatterning all the time is hold a space for people. You know what it feels like when you're down and somebody, you see the worry on their face and then it pulls you down further. But if somebody believes in you, then you can move toward that. So hold a space for him and do that by thinking of the things that he is really blessed with, the gifts that he has, rather than wondering about what box he's going to fit into. Hold a space without agenda for him that he will step into and find his way, and believe in him that he will.
in his
Oh, I
own
do.
time.
I do.
And that's the best support.
Oh, yes, definitely. I never
Perfect.
let him see me with any kind of a doubt for him.
Well, you know, it doesn't even
whatsoever.
have to. He doesn't even have to see you because you can feel it, you can
Yeah.
smell it, you
Yeah.
know. And so I would
Yeah.
just be really focused on all of his positive attributes. Hold that space that he will find his perfect niche.
Yeah, absolutely, because
Oh,
he's in a cycle.
I really try hard. I always encourage him.
Perfect.
I'm always praising him for what he does and how he accomplishes.
He might get something. Actually, sorry, he might get something out west in Vancouver. Because when he moves into 27 to 32, he's going to be in another cycle.
You're funny. You're saying that because he just moved there.
Okay,
there you go.
So
yes.
then he's fine.
Okay, so just right. We can't force anything to happen. We can
No,
still
no.
put our intent to happen. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You know, we still got to move forward in our life with different things and keep it real, right?
Well,
and we can
the
focus
main
on
reason
it.
I was
Vancouver,
so
he
concerned.
will.
Okay, yeah,
He
I
will
can see that happening for him out there.
Yeah, 2 years realistically. It's like he's gonna get his feet wet, right? But
Yeah.
you know, like even 2 weeks ago, I don't, you know, remember our callers really, but even now, you know what I mean? It's just baby steps, baby steps.
It is,
so
and
I'm
that's
not
what you said
feeling
back
it.
then, too.
I'm not feeling it. Okay, but. Right, Vancouver brings new beginnings for him. Within 2 years from now, you're going to start to see a big change.
Okay.
Right, for him to kind of shift. He might even get little parts here and there to do, like even little stuff on the street.
That's what he's been doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because he's been getting them.
Yeah, exactly. So just tell him just to keep going, but it's also balancing life. It's also balancing things together. You know, anybody's dreams you want to do, absolutely follow it.
Oh, definitely.
You know, you got to, you know, keep the focus on it and just follow it. And we can create anything we want.
Yeah,
Right,
we can make it happen. We have the power to make it happen.
Absolutely, but we got to keep the thing real too.
Oh, definitely,
and balance.
definitely. Well, the main reason I was concerned about it is because my health is not great, and I wanted to know for myself that he's going to be able to take care of himself.
He will.
He will. When you constantly worry about him all the time, that also affects your health. So you need to let that go. Cut the cord, let him go, let him play, let him do what he needs to do. Yeah. And Bonnie, thank you so much for calling in. We got another caller.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, take care.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
And our next caller is Tracy. Hello, Tracy.
Hello. I'm just wondering, I've just been going through some health concerns for the last little while, and I'm just wondering if you have anything to suggest to me or anything that you sense in this area.
Are you like worried, because I don't know why I'm picking up on this, for instance. Are you worried about some kind of a lump?
No, not necessarily, no.
I would, like, I mean, honestly, really, though, when was the last time you had a full checkup? Because the reason I'm saying it's not a bad thing, so don't freak out on it. But it's almost like, you know, we can get little cysts and little bumps and stuff like that, right? But it's almost like it's inside.
Okay.
Right? So you might very well come across, it's like, let's say if we have, like, you know, like, what do they call it, a scan or the ultrasound and stuff like that. Like, they very well, because I'm seeing something in one of your tubes, fallopian. There you go. Yes, in one of your tubes, and it's fine, right? But of course, you know, the medical world are going to say, you know, we have to check it out in case. Of course they do, right? But that's going to be fine, right? I really feel that you got to start drinking a lot more water with your routine, and it's almost like you need a whole energy work done on you to shake things up and let things go. Stop hanging on to things from the past, because it's almost like your body's like a cactus, as I call it, with little points, you know, like pricks sticking out, right? So you really gotta stop having these people kind of come at you, as I call it, right? You know, shut out any negativity. In your life.
One of the things that I always suggest to anyone who's having health challenges is sit down and really focus on what part of your body is working well. Because we focus so much on the part that's damaged or ill or challenged or whatever. So yes, you've got health challenges, but you also have health strengths.
Yes.
And so what are the health strengths that you have right now, Tracy? Because when you focus on the health strengths, like for example, my eyes are working perfectly, or my digestion, whatever, I don't know, I don't have the same skills that you do, so I can't feel into what the challenge is, but I can feel energetically that one of the ways that you can shift your energy up is by focusing on, you know, my big toe is working brilliantly, and I'm so grateful for it, and raise your energy about the stuff that is working.
Yes.
Because, you know, we're wired, we hear let it go, and all due respect, I know that that's what we need to do. However, your subconscious mind is wired to hang on, and it's so powerful that you're fighting against it all the time. So what you want to do is create the subconscious belief that you are healthy, you are well, and so focus on the parts of your body. You know, my hair is beautifully healthy. Whatever it is, focus there and get the energy moving up.
Yes, yeah, clear out the negative.
I love listening to, I can't remember the lady's name with the white shirt. Does she have any input for me?
Yes, Kim. She does Reiki and such, though. Remember I mentioned energy work.
What I was just asking and what I felt right away is something to do with sorrow and about 3 years ago.
About with what?
Sorrow, and 3 years ago. I don't know what happened about 3 years ago or in there somewhere. It's just letting that go and to know that whatever happened before time was a huge blessing and a beautiful impact in your life. And then to let go of the sorrow part. And I always ask for, you know, gratitude for everything that's happened. And if we have to let something go, not to hold on to the sorrow, just hold on to the blessings that we had that opportunity.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Okay, take care.
Take
You're
care,
welcome.
Tracy.
Bye-bye.
Our next caller is Lynn.
Lynn.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Ed, how are you?
Good. And your question for us tonight?
Yeah, I would like to ask you about my business right now. That it's not going really well, you know. I'm just kind of worried because, you know, you have mortgage to pay and everything.
Yeah, again, it's clearing out a lot of negative stuff around you, right? I know that when, if you have a business and things aren't flowing, we get into that stump of the fear point, right? When we get into that fear point, nothing moves forward, right? So again, it's keeping that positive intent. Like what I do every morning is I do mantras and affirmations every morning, especially let's say if it's a challenging day I know I'm going to have. I'll just, say it's going to be a really, really good day. So for instance, with a business and such like that, you can say the universe is sending me more and more abundance each and every day. So it's again about changing our thinking and our patterns of how we start thinking, right? So if you start to do that, it might sound crazy, but if you really start to focus and do that, you can shift anything around, right? So it's all about staying positive, shift our mind and our beliefs around, and things will pick up for you, but you've got to start doing that. You can't just kind of sit back and say, when's something going to happen? We're the only people that can create that to happen, right? So if you start doing this even tonight, tomorrow morning, you're going to start to see even some action starting even in the next 4 days.
Okay.
Right, but you've got to do that. You got to start doing that and clear things out, and then you're going to start to see things come in.
It's like renewing your interest and putting your heart back into it.
Yes, absolutely.
And Lynn, I always talk about you can be on one side of the line or the other. So you're either on energy draining or energy raising.
Yes.
And so my work is about training the subconscious mind to do it for you, because when you're in the pit, it's hard. I get it. But what would be one of the feelings that you would like to feel in your business? Would you like to feel fulfilled? Would you like to feel content? Would you like to feel like you're making a difference? And focus on that aspect and think about that as you go to sleep tonight. Where did I make a difference today in my business? And if that monkey comes up and says you didn't make any difference at all, you say, yes, I did. I made a difference when I called into soul work because other people are hearing, and I did make a difference today. It doesn't have to be exactly in your business.
Yes.
And then tomorrow morning, where do I make a difference today? And who do I know who makes a difference that I can be like? Focus on the energy that you want to create.
Absolutely.
Because you only have so much bandwidth.
Okay. All right. And we want to appreciate you calling.
Okay,
yes,
thank you so much.
Actually already at the end of the show. And I know, and I want to thank Suze Casey again for joining us on the show.
I really appreciate being invited,
yes,
Kim and Jenny. It's really fun. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And just for all the viewers also, that all the shows are on YouTube. You can search under Jenny Cousins and they'll come up. And we'll be live again next Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Channel 10 on Shaw TV. Good night, anyone. Good night, everyone.
Namaste.
Thanks again.
The proceeding was an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the...
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us for Go Calgary. Today we are at Calgary's Aerospace Museum. On the show we are going to check in with the paddler. We're going to head out to Banff and find out about a great new attraction.